But whenever you're ready, knock it out.
In 1977, George Benson recorded The Greatest Love of All for Muhammad Ali's biopic, The Greatest. Greatest Love of All became an international popular hit when the powerhouse diva vocalist Whitney Houston re-recorded it almost 10 years later. Nearly 40 years ago, this popular ballad spoke the most powerful truth that we have somehow stopped believing in. Our children are indeed our future. We need to teach them well and let them lead the way. And because the majority of us have lost that concept, there's a lack of involvement that we can only gain back if we change our thought process. I look around the audience, and I know many of us have been victimized. Things have happened in our lives that may have made us become selfish. I understand, as I too was there. Sadly, some of us are still imprisoned there. And until we learn to free ourselves, then there is nothing else pretty much will matter. Then nothing else will pretty much will matter. I don't need to tell you about my sad story as I moved on. I do need to tell you, if you don't move on, it will hinder those around you, especially those that are important to us, specifically our children. And yes, I know some of us had nearly perfect lives. No serious setbacks that would make us seem like it's anything other than peachy cream. And we may have fell into that selfish category because we either chose to or we have been given so much in our lives that we have never learned to give back. There are even a few of us here today that are not selfish at all. But we're being suffocated by all the negativity in the atmosphere. And we find it hard to breathe. And I say this because I think of my childhood memories when you come back. I think it was one of the questions I used to dread was, what do you want to be when you grow up? When I first heard that question, I was eager to say, I want to be a teacher when I grow up. But years later, that hand just suddenly please don't pick me. Because I got tired of hearing, why do you want to be a teacher? You know they don't get paid much. And it didn't calculate in my mind at that time because I wasn't looking at how much I would get paid. All I wanted to do was teach. This really discouraged me, and I was concerned. This really discouraged me, and I ended up allowing that suffocation to change my perspective of what I wanted to be, and then I started doing what this person wanted me to do, or what this person thought I should do. So I lost my way because of that negative atmosphere. So to my fellow mentors, lean on me, dangerous minds, won't give up. There are so many movies out there about teachers who go beyond and above, who don't just see it as a job, but they teach because they're passionate about what they're doing. And I applaud you for following your dreams because I know it can be difficult at times, especially with so much negativity. What is that saying, if you can't do, teach? I mean, what's up with all of these negative statements? Why do the world make it seem like teaching is so wrong? Because we should be teaching our children because they are our future. But since we're speaking about the negativity that tends to bring us down or entrap us, the reason why I'm here is so we can learn how to take control over the negative thoughts and regain control over our minds and our lives. Because being a better you, being a better me, will make us be able to better aid those around us. Our future president, our future doctors, our future lawyers, our future engineers, our future teachers, our students. So how do we change our whole thought process? First, we must recognize when we are in or surrounded by negativity. You can feel when something is wrong. You can feel the presence when everything seems so negative, when everyone you talk to, it's like a negative attitude. It's like, how you doing today? That I would be better if I had some results, or you really don't want to know. You can feel that. You can notice that when it surrounds you. So once you identify that you are in this situation, you must decide to not allow the negativity to sink you in. You must stay positive as much as possible and look at the situation from a different perspective. So when someone says, how's your day? And someone responds back with, could be better, yada, yada, yada. And then a positive response would be, well, you are on the ground and not underneath. So you have to look at it in a different perspective. When someone wakes up on their job that they hate to get up to, you have a job to get up to. Look at it from a different perspective. We can choose to take the negative road, or we can take a different route. I believe Portia Nelson, the author autobiography of 5 chapters, talk about the hole in the road, how she keeps falling in. Every day she walks in, she tried this and she still falls in. And then by the 5th chapter, she realized, hey, I'm not going to take that road anymore. I'm just going to go the other way. That's how you have to retrain your mind. It's going to take time. It's going to require patience. And if you're dealing with kids, patience is one of those things that doesn't seem like it's there every day. I understand. But it's going to, it's going to take time. But if you truly want to master patience, if you truly want to master the patience trait, then everything else should, once you truly master the patience trait, then everything else should come naturally. And to completely be at peace, you need to learn how to let go of things. You cannot hold on to things that are going to hinder you. Again, like I said, I know some of us have been victims, but if you continue to hold on to playing the victim role, you're not going to grow. You're going to keep holding on to that while that person who victimized you or that person who did you wrong is living their life. If you want to completely be at peace, learn to forgive and move on. You don't have to forget, but you can learn to forgive. And once you learn to forgive that person, forgive yourself. Because sometimes we forgive that person, but yet we forget about forgiving ourselves. I use the song The Greatest Love of All because Linda Creed wrote the song as she battled breast cancer. She could have just allowed her suffering to stop with breast cancer, but she didn't. She wanted to focus on the greatest love of all. She talked about giving back to the children, but the greatest love of all was learning to love yourself. Because if you don't learn to love yourself, then how are you going to learn to love anyone else? Thank you for this opportunity, and just keep mentoring our children. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Latonya. Appreciate it.